You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jen, and we're two boss babes sharing our journey and inspiring you along the way. And today's episode, we are going to give you 4 tips on how to set up your business for success for 2024.
Yes.
And we'll briefly go over the 4 tips, and then we're going to kind of dive in. But we're using this episode as kind of a come with us. Let's do this together. Let's set some big goals together. But also, like, grab a pen and paper, because I think today's episode is going to have some fun content for you to be able to go back on and really, like, reevaluate if you have set goals, if you haven't, and all the fun things.
Yeah.
So the 4 tips that we're going to go over today is, did you set goals for 2023? Do you have goals for 2024 yet? On a scale from 1 to 10, how eager are you in your business right now? And the last is, do you envision your goals? So do you want me to start with the 2023?
Yes.
All
Take
right.
it away.
All right. We're taking it away today. So the question is, did you set goals for 2023? So for me, I did set goals for 2023. I had some pretty high ones. One was to get my second trailer live. That was a huge thing. We started the renovations late into 2022. I had purchased the trailer into 2022, but my goal was to be like up and ready by 2023. We had a lot of challenges with that. Even though this was my second one, I kind of knew what I was doing. It's still very, very, very challenging having to rely on other people.
Yeah.
And I had to rely on other people for this. So it was hard, but we did it. We were up and running by June. I think the only negative to not being up and ready when I wanted to be was I was very hesitant to sell the second trailer. So if I was booked, I was not double booking myself, because the last thing I ever wanted to do was have to turn away a piece of business if the trailer wasn't ready. So there was some earlier June events that wanted to book to, like, I already had a booking and they wanted, to book a second event. And I told them no, because I was just really, really nervous.
So fresh.
Yeah. It was so fresh. And unfortunately, the guy that I was working with was like dragging his feet, and I just didn't want to ever have to have the instance of canceling something.
Yeah, you don't want to take something on and then say,
Yeah.
oh, actually,
By the way,
I can't.
I can't work your event.
Right.
Here's
Yeah.
your money back. You just don't ever want to do that. So anyway,
Yeah.
we were up and running by the middle of June. I did book an event before we were officially ready, which I do recommend, because I did this with my first trailer. I booked an event and I had to be done by that time. So like with this one, I was skeptical because the guy was just like really, really hard to work with. So it was a different kind of he didn't even start the trailer until like the end of February. Like, it was wild.
Wow.
Like I can't even.
Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah, it's
That's a
crazy.
quick little
So,
turnaround.
and then we still had to do all the inside work. Yeah. So we were literally working like nights on nights on nights on nights. It was crazy, but we got it done. But I did give myself an end goal of middle of June. So I didn't say no to the beginning of June, which, looking back, we probably could have had it done after some threats to the builder.
Also, I'm not sure if we prefaced this episode, so if you guys are new on this first episode and you're like, oh my gosh, who are these people? I'm a wedding photographer and videographer, and Jen runs a mobile bar business. So
Yes.
the trailers that she's talking about, she's converted 2 beautiful horse trailers into a little cocktail bar.
Yes.
So
Oh, thank you for that. Yeah.
little context for
Yes.
what we're chatting about.
So, very long story short, yes, I did set a big goal to have the 2 trailers. I was like fully booked September, October, double
That's
wedding
fantastic.
weekends, which is just crazy. Like, looking back, I was like, holy smokes, how did I even do that? So that was like a huge goal for me. I also set some personal goals of wanting to do some manifestation, some mindset changes. I feel like I recently listened to something where it was like, working out and like being active is the best, like, serotonin. Is that the word I'm looking for?
I think.
Yeah. To like get your juices flowing, get your body moving, all the things. And I felt like during COVID was the one time that I was like working out every morning. I was getting up before my kids, where I was like doing all the things. And it was probably the best mindset, which sounds crazy because we were in a pandemic lockdown. But it was like the best mindset I was in. But I feel like I got myself there because I could have gone in a really dark route with the pandemic, being home with my kids, not being able to go anywhere, being locked in a house. Like, I feel like I allowed myself not to think negative thoughts.
Yeah.
So I wanted to really get back into that mindset. And I did a lot of like self-development podcasts and just like re-listening to motivational things every single day. And it totally like changed my business because yeah, that's where I'm going to kind of leave it.
So recap on 2023 goals you set and how you achieved them. How rate it? What's your score? How do you rate yourself?
Man, I feel like I'm giving myself an 8 because
solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm very proud of the year that I had. I, you know, we didn't double our revenue, but we went way higher than we did the previous year. So that's always a win. I feel like I established my team really well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Like I'm really proud of myself. I
You
haven't
should
said that to
be.
myself, actually.
Okay, and now you guys rate yourself, scale of 1 to 10. Are you proud of yourself? All right, my 2023 goals, also a year of expansion for me, year of growth in the business. I wanted just to see things change. I felt like I was really starting to settle in my editing style, in the way that I was treating my clients and everything. I just felt like I was getting more professional. I just felt better. I felt like a change had happened. And so over the course of the year, that was kind of what I wanted to emulate. I was like, I feel like things are happening. And so, you know, every step of the way, every wedding, I felt myself improve. I felt myself like connect more with my second shooters. And then on top of that, I also started offering videography services. And that's a whole different world and ball game that I added onto my business. It's my second trailer. So yeah, huge year of growth for me. I had booked a lot of the wedding videos that I did last year in 2022. And so that was we kind of had a very similar experience in year with that, because I was accepting bookings and, you know, marketing for budget friendly videography clients. And I like wasn't necessarily fully ready for it. I was still kind of doing the research. I was still kind of figuring things out, but I think we're kind of the same way with like, we know we can do it. We just have to do all the research and we have to like really figure it out. But like our hearts are set on it and we're going to make it happen, especially if we make a commitment. And so I made a bunch of commitments and I was like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I kind of don't know what I'm doing. And so I did all the research, got ready for all of the weddings, did them all. Everybody's been really happy. And along the way, I've kind of been fine tuning things and what I liked and what I didn't like and how I thought I could better service everybody within that. And so that was my 2023. And if I were to rate myself, I'd probably also give myself an 8, I think. I'm just going to copy you.
I love that.
Yeah, because I think I probably, looking back, I'm like, I probably could have done a little more research on some things. But because I overbooked in some areas sometimes of the year, I feel like I wasn't able to give fully 100% effort to everybody. I feel like, especially in the fall, some people maybe only got 85%, 90%, and they, you know, I wish that I could have done more. And so that's a fault of my own, of doing too much and taking on too much when I shouldn't have, when I wasn't ready for it. So learning experience, that drops me down a couple points. But my goals for 2024, we've talked about this in past episodes, is balance for me. You know, I want to keep with the growth, of course, and, you know, still fine tune things and have things get better and better. But at the same time, I want to set limits and set boundaries and have a better balance. So that's my 2024 goal.
I love that we both had amazing years, but we're so hard on ourselves that we could never give ourselves like a 9 or 10. But I agree. I love that. Okay, so the next one is, you kind of lead it into that. Do you have goals for 2024 set yet? So think about that. You know, as we're recording this podcast and it's going to come, this episode, and it's going to come out in 2 weeks from now, we're at, what is it, January 25th, 26th?
Something like that. Yeah.
Excuse me. And, you know, we're at the end of January. We're almost into February. So I feel like a lot of people get this mindset that your goals have to be set by January 1st. And you have to go into the new year with new goals and new excitement and things like that. And personally, I have not set any goals for 2024
I'm
yet.
still passing houses with Christmas trees in the window. Like, everything's
well,
good,
if you
guys.
pass mine, it wouldn't have a Christmas tree, but it does still have my lights outside.
It's all good. You know, if we're still in the first month of the year, there's really no rush. No. And also there's absolutely no rush for change or to set a goal ever. Like if, I don't know, even if it's like December and you're like, you know what, the year's not over yet. I still want to accomplish XYZ. Go for it. You know, it's not too late. I mean, It is too late and it's not too late, because I think it is nice to set goals at least early on in the year, January, February, March, even April, guys. I mean, the wedding season doesn't really start until then anyway. So I think it probably is nice to have goals. And that's the point of the episode, is to make you think about it. Goals that will kind of frame your mind into accepting different things and into, grinding for different things for the rest of the year. But also, it's not too late. And if you're like, my goal for 2023 or 2024 is to become published, you can be published in December. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Just a little side note is that it's not too late.
I love that. And I think a lot of people get discouraged when they're like seeing all these people post my word for 2024, my goals for 2024. And maybe that's not your thing, and that's okay. But I feel like you do need something to look forward to in order to see yourself at the next level.
Yeah, you got to hold yourself accountable a little.
Yes, accountability. And something that you just said that I wrote down, it's make that commitment to yourself. And I think that's so important, is if you're not making the commitment to yourself, why is your business going to be successful? Why is anything in your life going to be successful if you're not making the own commitment to yourself? And I think it's just really important to have those conversations with yourself of, why do I want my business to be successful?
Yeah,
why do I want to see this go to the next level? And it's probably because you're proud of what you created.
Yeah.
And it's probably, I'm using my own, it's probably because you want to see other people proud of you. And, maybe that's not setting a goal, but maybe it's just thinking of thinking better thoughts. Like maybe that could be a goal for you. Like, I want to think better thoughts about
better
myself
self-talk.
and my business. Self-talk. Yeah, exactly. Something like that.
I love that.
Yeah. And then think about too, like if you're not a goal setter and if, writing down, a list of things that you want to accomplish is not your thing. Like, why isn't that your thing?
It can be your thing.
It can be your thing. Absolutely. But like, if it's not, I think that's okay. But you have to make sure that there's other ways that you are writing down something.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you know
This
what I
kind
mean?
of jumps ahead a little bit. We were going to talk about this later with envisioning your goals, but that kind of leads right into it, is envisioning your goals. It doesn't have to be in words. It can be in pictures. It can be in a Pinterest board. It can be in
Vision board.
In a vision board. Take it away, Jen. I don't know why that word
take
was
it
like
away.
leaving my head.
I have had this thing like on my heart for like 2 years now. Actually 2 years, because I took a course with I talk about them all the time, Mobile Bev Pros, which is a mobile bartending coaching company. And it's funny because I think I'm actually hiring her for a mastermind that she's doing. But I took a vision board course with her. It was a free like Zoom call that we went on to. And as mobile bars, you could come on and create a vision board together, basically. So you bring, you make your poster board, you get all your supplies, and she just like talked to us about it. And I still have that vision board, and it was 2 years ago. One of the things on the vision board was a second trailer. The other was focusing more on weddings. The other was traveling with my family.
Look at you.
The other, like, I'm talking it as I'm like reminding myself all the things that I've done in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I get to look back at that vision board, and I actually didn't look at it every day. I did have it on my computer, because one of the things that she recommended was have it in visual sight, whether you're passing by it, whether you're at your computer and you see it, whatever it may be, but
I like that.
Have it somewhere where you can just briefly glance at it. So anyway, I'm hosting a vision board class. It's next in 2 weeks, and it was something that I really wanted to do to gather local like-minded women. And it's funny because I thought it was going to be a lot more of like vendors that I know and have worked with, and not that I don't love vendors that I work with and know, but it's actually almost all people that I've never really done something with.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I'm like super, super excited about, because a big thing for me this year is I really want to network outside of the network I already have. Love my people I have, but I think it's very important to get into new rooms. And that is something big for me this year on my goal list, is to get into different rooms and just surrounding myself with different people. But anyway, so back to vision board. So I'm creating this workshop that I am going to keep it small. So it's 20 people. We're capping it at 20. And basically we're going to create a vision board together, but really just have an experience and have a night together where we can all talk about our businesses. And it's not just business related. And I've been telling people about this. I did focus it on business because I think that's the core community that I want there. But if you have big personal goals for the year, like come on in too. I think even if you're not a business owner, it is so important to just like if you want to travel more with your family, whatever it is. Getting off topic. But anyway, so the point of a vision board is to really visualize your success. And I recently went to a manifestation retreat, which was heavy on business related. But one of the things, it's like you have to speak what you want into existence. And you have to speak what you want into the universe for the universe to hear you and whatever you believe in, whether it's God, the universe, whatever. But if you're not talking about it, it's probably not going to happen.
Not even just God and the universe, but a psychology thing. I think that's more just a psychology thing than anything else. And that's exactly, you proved yourself right with having the vision board, even if it's not plastered on your wall or, you know, wherever, if it's just somewhere within sight, your desktop screen, or just you took a picture of it and it's on your phone and maybe you go back to it once a month or something like that. Just seeing it, and you've said this on the podcast a bunch of times, that if you see something 8 times, or there's like some statistic, right? That if you see something 8 times, you're more likely to register it and remember it and really soak it in. And I think we've talked about that a lot with social media and posting so often and so frequently, so that people have that moment of seeing your business 8 times and being like, wow, the universe is pushing this to me. I really need to follow her. But it's really just a psychology thing. And that's probably the same with manifesting and your business and just reframing your mind to be like, these are my goals for 2024. And don't just like set it and forget it. Because I do that a lot with New Year's resolutions, where it's things that I'm like, oh, I want to start to use metal razors instead of plastic razors. And it's like the littlest thing, but like it's not something that's at the forefront of my mind. And so I just forget about it. But if I were to put like a metal razor over my bed and I looked at it when I went to bed every night, I can guarantee you by the end of the year I would get one. So that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That you said that.
I'm going to go into this. So I recently just saw something about vision boards because I've been doing more research, and it says vision boards help with motivation. Usually the first thing a person does when they wake up in the morning is scroll through their Instagram or Facebook. Guilty.
Yeah, unfortunate.
You see an endless stream of news, ideas, pictures, and that throws your focus off from the start of the day. Wouldn't it be nice if the first thing you see when you woke up was a visual representation of your goals?
Yeah.
And I was like, bam, oh my gosh. Like if I do have Post-its on my mirror in my bathroom, and I think I've talked about this before. My husband probably thinks I'm crazy, but like one of the Post-its literally just says, you got this. And it's like my daily reminder that like I can do anything that I set my mind to. And I think if you were to look at your goals every day, it's going to be that reminder. This is what you're going for. This is what you want to go for. This is what you want to achieve. And I think, you know, we're so busy. We're all busy. And you forget, like, not that I forgot I wanted to build a second trailer, but I'm sure there, you know, I know that I forgot that I wanted to start talking to myself kinder and, you know, start using more positive things. And I am a very positive person, but it's very easy to get in a conversation with someone and start being negative. And then that throws your whole day off. Like every time we do a podcast, I leave here and I'm like motivated and go, go, go.
Me too.
And then I'll like talk to someone, like not one of my girlfriends, but just like someone, and they're like having a bad day. And that energy feeds off, you know, you feed off of that other person. You're like, well, I'm not having a bad day, but you're kind of reminding me that like I forgot to do the laundry and it's probably still sitting in my washer machine and I didn't put it in the dryer in time. You know, you start to like trick your brain. So anyway, back to my squirrel. I think it's so important to visualize your goals. And I think a vision board is so important, and it's so easy to do now. Like there's so many templates on Canva that you can literally just add pictures you want, put a few little motivating words, put 2024 on it, and put it on the screen of your phone.
So what are you envisioning for 2024? Business and personal, just in general, everything. What are like your bullet point things?
So it's funny. I honestly don't know yet. Like it sounds crazy, but I feel like I have so many. So the retreat that I went to a few weeks ago with Manifest with Alexis is, I don't think we talked about this, but I'm not going to go into it too much. It was amazing. Like I highly recommend anyone who is ever considering going on a retreat. Number 1, go with Alexis, but number 2, find someone who you like, Who Speaks to You.
It looked awesome.
It
looked so fun. I saw all of you like reposting stories that you were tagged in and everything.
Yeah.
It looked like there was so much going on. It just looked like a really fun sleepover.
It was, and it wasn't. Like, I felt so much at peace during that weekend because I didn't have my kids. Thank you to my husband who like didn't call me. Like, I honestly, it was funny because a few of the women there were moms, and they had talked about like, you know, are you going to call your kids? Are you going to FaceTime your kids? One of them did FaceTime her kids. The other one did not talk to her husband or kids the entire weekend. Wow. And I did not talk to my husband. I texted a few times, and it was a long weekend. It was Friday to Monday morning. And I didn't talk to my husband or kids until Sunday night. Wow. And I was coming home the next morning. And so anyway, it was such a peaceful experience, but we did do a lot, but it didn't feel like too much.
That's really good.
Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
Like, she had a whole itinerary and agenda and all that. But anyway, we won't go too far into that. But so anyway, one of the activities that we did was setting our goals for 2024. And I did set things, and it was more like next off season, I want to be better set up. Because I've mentioned it many times. Like, I feel like the past 2 years, I've come into an off season and been like, what do I do? Because I'm not the type of person who can stop. Like, I just can't.
Yeah.
If you don't know this by me,
I know.
You don't know this yet. I think you do, but like, I keep saying like I'm going crazy in off season because I can't shut my brain off. It's just not how I'm wired. I'm someone who has to keep going. Like, I do know when I have a limit, but November and December was when I took that time. Like, I went from a September, October where I was like, holy shit, like what's happening, to a November, December where I think I had 2 holiday parties. Like, I didn't really promote it. I didn't take many.
Yeah.
So for me, that was my time to calm down and relax and rest and kind of reset. And now January, I'm like, let's go.
That's so interesting because for me, I feel like I have my periods where I'm like, let's go. But for the majority of the time, I like to live a slow life. I don't know if you've seen those TikToks of people that are like homesteaders who like have their chickens and they like homeschool their kids and they wear like linen pants and they just sew all day. Like that is me at heart. That's like me for the majority of the time. But then I have my moments where I'm like, I'm passionate, let's get it. And where I would not thrive in that environment. But for the most of the time, I think I would thrive like that. And so for me, I also did some trips at like the end of the fall season. We went away for a little weekend in end of November. And then, you know, you have Thanksgiving, you have Christmas. We went away in between Christmas and New Year's. Then you have New Year's. So I like took so much time during those periods and I still felt like it wasn't enough. So I'm very much enjoying the slow season, and I'm actually kind of feeling like I still don't have enough time because I feel like I was just so anxious and working too hard, and my fall season was kind of a nightmare for me towards the end of it, at least. Where I was loving what I was doing, I was loving shooting, but the nightmare was just like me and how I was treating myself and how early I was waking up and how late I was going to bed just because of all of the work that I had committed to at my own fault. You know what I mean? So that's what I need to work on in 2024. But anyway, I didn't want to like throw you off track, but I was like, living the slow life is like, I am not going crazy in slow season. I am thriving in slow season right now. So it's just interesting that like we have that, but I just have periods of life where I'm just like, I'm nesting and then I'm like out into the world and then I'm nesting. I am not like hustle and bustle city person at all.
They say opposites attract.
Hey.
Hey. I think this is why we are besties, because we are literally so opposite, which is so funny. And like, I don't think age, because obviously everyone knows the age. Well, I don't know, but the age, we're like 12 years, right? Or 13 or 14.
I'm 22.
And I'm 35. I don't know.
15.
Do the math.
I don't know.
Is it 15?
Is it? I don't know.
14? I don't know. Anyway.
No, that's not. Wait, no. That was not right at all.
How old are you?
22. So 8, 9, 10, 11 or something?
No, 11 would be 33. So 13 years.
Well, when's your birthday?
June.
And my birthday's in July. So, okay.
Yeah. So 13. We're going to go
something like that.
Anyways,
continue.
Where I was getting at was I don't think our age has anything to do with us being opposites. Like we are just so opposite, but like we attract in such a unique way.
But we're also so on the same page when I'm in my grind season. So,
well, I don't know how to nest, so maybe you could teach me one day, because I honestly don't know how to do that.
We'll have a little
so funny,
knitting circle one day.
My husband is literally homebody, can literally be home by the fire watching football
me with
all
a book
the time, like literally all the time. And like we're complete opposites. Like, but I bring him out of his little nest sometimes, and I'm like, "You're coming to couples night. Let's go." And he's like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "Yes, you are."
Okay, so your 2024 goals.
Yes.
Let's hear them. Bullet point.
Okay.
Short and sweet.
So I do want to focus more into mobile bar coaching.
Love it. Like you coaching.
Me coaching. Yeah.
Love it.
I do want to set a program where people can join my program and I can coach you on how to start, run, or continue to be successful as a mobile bar. Mm-hmm. I think it's going to be my next off season is going to be when I like launch it. Like I think I'll launch it in the summer. Okay. And then have it for next year. So for 2025. But I'm going to dive into it this year.
Get it going. Yeah. Yeah.
My other goal, which literally happened yesterday.
Oh my God. Wait, do I know this? Do I know this yet?
To hire the mobile bar coach.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I think I'm making a commitment to myself, which is, I think a goal for this year is to make more commitments to myself and to my business. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I'm kind of like, in the past 3 years, I've just been kind of running, what's the word? Like running by the seat of my pants.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah.
Not getting help from anyone. And I feel like I'm at a point in my business where I'm like, I built a second trailer. I've expanded. I've grown my social media. And now I'm kind of like I know we're on video, but I'm drawing my hand on a straight line. Like, I feel like I've plateaued.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
feel like I've built my community in the area, which is why I think I want to get into other rooms. So I think like that's another bullet point goal is getting into other rooms. I've finalized my team. So I mean, obviously I'm going to need to like get more people if I need to. But I think it's perfecting them too. Mm-hmm. And I think this mobile bar coach is really going to help me with all of those things. And it's just like really working in my business working on my business versus in my business.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've just worked in it.
Yeah.
I show up to the event, we do killer drinks, we create killer cocktails, but I feel like I haven't really, like, I want to rebrand myself eventually. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a new logo eventually.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't tell you about that.
No. Yeah. I would love to chat about this because this kind of, I don't want to cut you off, but this kind of goes into my goals for 2024.
Okay.
But
so
finish.
I met a woman on the retreat. Her business is, I believe it's Zest Media. And she does branding, like web design branding. Mm-hmm. So like graphic, all those things.
Yeah.
And one of her templates that you could purchase is she sends you like 30 different vision boards, like palette colors and themes and all of that. And you choose like a few and then you answer a bunch of questions and she kind of like rebrands your color of your business and rebrands your logo. Hmm.
Yeah.
So I felt like that was a step for me. Like eventually I don't love my website. I think everyone goes through those stages. I feel like it doesn't represent who I am now and who my ideal client is anymore. Another bullet point is finding my ideal client. Like, I feel like it's kind of changed throughout the past 3 years. And I think I love weddings. I love doing weddings. And I love the tented, like, that weddings. And I don't think my brand represents that as much. So I want to find a way to do that. So that was a loaded question. So there's a few bullet points there. So one is mobile bar coaching. I think I want to get into that long term. The other is like perfecting behind the scenes versus, the business in front of the guests. And what was the other one?
The team, like making
it easier for them when they show up to the event, because my long-term goal is not to be at events anymore. So I want to make sure that they're set up to be able to run, events smoothly and have, systems in place, which I don't have right now. And then making better commitments to myself.
Yeah, just saying it out loud like helps me envision it and understand your business more too. Yeah. So I think
And finding my ideal
good.
client. That was like the number one
Yeah.
thing.
We're so similar. Like we were talking about how we're so different, but we're so similar. Our goals are very similar. So my 2024 goals. So my big ticket item is kind of the same that you had mentioned about working on your business rather than in your business. I feel like I've come in this past year to a good style with like my editing for my photos. My videos I still feel like need a little bit of work, but that's because it's still very new. But I'm happy with where I am with the deliverables and the style that I'm going for. And I feel like each wedding I did, I got closer and closer to what I wanted it to be like. And so that's just going to get better. And I don't really feel like there's anything that with that I'm like really struggling on. Like, I need to fix this. I feel like it's just a slow burn to get where I want to be. So that's kind of a goal, but it's not like I need to work on this today. You know what I'm saying? That's like something that will happen over time. So working on my business rather than in my business is the same. The branding. I'm working with a branding girl. I'm very excited. She's a friend of mine that's a graphic designer in like her day-to-day profession. And she's always been like entrepreneur minded and has done other things. She's had Etsy's for different areas of like artistic kind of stuff. And she's now thinking about doing branding for businesses to connect her graphic design world with her entrepreneur world. And I'm like her test subject. I'm being her guinea pig right now. And so she did it already. She's just sending me all of the packages with like the clear backgrounds and everything like that. So she's getting everything prepared for me, but we actually just met yesterday and like finalized like my whole branding, everything. I'm so excited. And we're getting started on my website and a couple of other things that I'm going to commission her to design for me because that is not my area of expertise. I'm a photographer. I create art that exists. I don't create art out of thin air. So, and she's very good at it. So I'm going to ask her to do that for me. But that also is the same with asking for help. Like I made my first website, the one that's live right now, January 2024. And same, like I loved it when I made it. I liked it when I made it. And over time I'm like, it's not doing it for me anymore. It's very just kind of words on a page to me. It's not how I want it to be. I feel like maybe I'm just tired of it. I don't know. I just feel like I really need a change. And maybe part of it is that I know that I made it. And so I'm like, it's not good enough. Yep. I think that maybe hiring somebody else to do it will make me like it more because it'll be new to me and exciting to me. And I'm going to be like, I don't know, more invested in it, if that makes sense. I'm not going to be as nitpicky because I didn't make it. I'm not quite sure. I'll keep you posted on it. But the whole branding thing is just huge because I've added so much to my business with videography and now working exclusively with a team of second shooters. I really feel like I'm fine-tuning things and creating the service that I really have been wanting to create and making things as professional as I want them to be. And so 2024, I want to polish it off. I want to really make it all, like tied up in a bow because I feel like 2023, I was on the right track. I like was including the things that I'd been wanting to, and I was like getting there. I feel like I have like one more step, like I feel like it all exists. It's all there. I just have to do the website and make it known and like refresh the page. You know what I'm saying? So 2024 goals, my branding. I don't want to give too much away, but I'm very excited about it. She's come up with like a really awesome logo and design idea that like hits the message of my business. And it's just so good. So anyway, that's my big top thing. My second thing, as I've kind of mentioned already, is balance, is, planning out my schedule in a way that makes sense where I can have those homebody moments and I won't have to push it to the metal if I don't want to. But that if I am kind of in that mindset of, okay, let's grind, then I have other things on my to-do list that, are maybe slow burn things that I can check off that are like, oh, by the end of the year, I want to achieve this goal, like things like that. But for the most part, I want to be able to shoot a wedding, go home and edit it by the fire, shoot a wedding, come home and edit it by the fire, go to a coffee shop the next day. And I want to be able to gradually achieve and deliver everything to my clients because it's such a creative process. And this past year, I didn't give myself enough time for the creative process. Like they're paying me to create art and to be creative. And I didn't set myself up for success with the delivery time. Like, I just made it impossible for me to be creative. And it's like my fault. Like, they're paying me to be creative and to do this thing. And I like didn't make it reasonable with the amount of time that I gave myself to make it happen, if that makes sense. So 2024, I want to make that better. I'm limiting my bookings a little bit to make it more achievable and extending some deadlines. So that is already in motion, but I want to really be in the mindset of balance and have those homebody moments and go on a trip, maybe not once a month because that's a little insane, but like we talked about maybe doing a weekend every month, maybe where we aren't booked. I don't know. I'm still pondering that. But I guess my bullet points is my branding, making my business presentable in the way I want it to be presented, fine-tuning all of my business and just wrapping it in a bow, balance with my personal life, my home life, my business life, and just having a well-rounded day-to-day life where I set myself up for success and happiness. And those are my 2024 goals.
Woo! I love that.
A couple other things, but
I think you need a scale in your room, and it needs to be a balanced scale.
Ooh.
I think you need to get one of those. That way you're visualizing balance every day.
Ooh, I kind of like that. So like if I work, so I set business hours they're like kind of loose. I usually work like 9 or 10. Mm-hmm. Or, well, no, I don't like do emails or calls until like 10, but sometimes earlier in the morning I'll start editing and doing other things just to kind of like get the day going. But my business hours are like 9 to 5, 9 to 6, something like that. But maybe like if I'm working till 7 or if I'm going like an hour over, I'll put a rock in the business scale so it goes down. Or
I was just gonna say, get like maybe not a rock because the whole thing's gonna fall down, but maybe like a coffee beans or something.
Yeah, pennies.
And like have it balanced.
I really like that idea.
Every time you're not reminding yourself that you're being balanced, you have to add something to the scale.
Or if I do something really good for myself, like get a manicure.
Yeah. Then the other side goes.
Oh my gosh, I really love that idea.
I love this idea.
I'm gonna do it. Yes. I'm gonna do it.
All right, to be continued.
I'm gonna go on Facebook Marketplace after this.
But I just got one last thought, and we're gonna wrap up this episode. But I got one last thought when you were talking about how like you don't love your website. You've added so much to your business, and I think that just like sparked something in my mind because when I first started, I created my logo because I wanted my name to be big and bold. I was like researching like how to create a logo, and I created my logo. I am not a graphic designer.
I didn't know that you did.
Yeah, no. It's funny, I created my logo because I wanted something easy for me to use my Cricut printer on. Oh, and I decided my logo is the vintage horse. It says it in like a script font. And then it's got a circle with these tiny little dots and then a feather. And I don't know if you've ever used a Cricut printer, but I created the worst logo possible for the Cricut printer. Like, it's so silly.
Like intricate lines and...
Yeah, it's... The dots come off every time I try to like weed the Cricut paper. Anyway, but the point I'm getting at is my logo doesn't even show that anything about bartending. It shows nothing about being a bar, being a...
I don't think your business necessarily has to. Like the logo that I'm now, I guess I'll just tell you about it. The girl that I'm working with who designed my branding, I was telling her, I guess I'll just go into the process a little bit. I'll make it short and sweet, but I was telling her about my business, and the majority of shoots that I do are at golden hour. I like tall grass wheat fields. Yep. I want my logo to kind of feel like that, but I don't want it to have a camera because that's kind of like when I think bartending, I would think your logo needs to have a glass. Like it needs to have shakers. It has to have something. And that's kind of the same with photographers is most photographers will have a camera or something in their logo. And it's just, I feel like it's really overdone. Mm-hmm. But in my business name, it says like imagery, like that kind of makes you think visuals. That kind of makes you, it kind of makes you think about it already. Mm-hmm. And so we've kind of, it's like evolved. It took a little bit of time, but we've evolved on my branding.
That's my
logo
word.
And image. Oh yeah. Being the North Star, because the North Star is like a guide point, and it's like something that you walk towards, and that's, it's your guide point, but like you can blaze whatever trail you want as long as you're following that direction. And so that's that's me in my business, because I don't like to pose people. I don't like it to be so set in stone. I like you to be able to trailblaze and do your own thing, and I'll just guide you along the way. And so I'm like my couple's North Star. But the star is also a sun, and the sun, I always shoot a golden hour. I always try to make, whatever. So there's that. And then we also have this really cool concept for it where she's coming up with a package that's like a couple different variations of the logo. And so one of them is a compass, and each point of the star being, a different compass point, because that's also the same thing as like, going due north to the star and whatever. So that relates to my business so well, and I'm so passionate about it, and I'm so excited about it, and I think it fits. I just need to present it in the right way. But at the same time, it doesn't have a camera. You have to know my business to kind of get it, but at the same time, like it looks nice, and it could be a flash from a camera. It could be a sun. Yeah. It could be a star. Like there's a lot of things when you see it where it's kind of up to interpretation, but once I present it on my website and, what have you, that entices people to read it and be like, okay, what's she all about? Yeah. I think if it was just a camera logo and people were like, okay, that's
she's
nice.
A photographer, yeah.
But like, what's her thing?
But I think you're right. By the way, love this. My family campground was called North Star Campground.
No way.
Yeah, that's where we got married too.
No way.
Yeah, I just got like goosebumps when you told me that. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah,
no way.
Wild.
That's
wild.
really weird.
But I think with the imagery word, it all evolves together, or combines. I think for me, like literally, if you don't know my business and you just see the vintage horse, you're gonna be like, what is that? Yes, maybe they'll look into it and be like, oh, what is this? And then hopefully you'll look on my website and see that we're a mobile bar. But just like being in general, like and there's nothing like that says anything about bartending, and that never struck me until I actually talked to a brand, a branding business. And I was like, oh, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, horse, because it's a horse trailer. So, like, I'm with you there.
But like, if they didn't know who I was, they wouldn't know I'm even a horse trailer. So, anyway, not to spiral on this, but I think these are things that you're going to evolve as a business, just like you evolve as a human. And I think for my goals for 2024, I need to evolve my brand into who I want my ideal client to be.
Yeah.
And that took me going to that retreat to be with other business owners in a setting, because like when you go to a networking event, like you see them quickly, you're like, just like excited and talking about business, but you're not really diving into the deep conversations of your business.
Right.
You're just like, hey, I'm a photographer, I own a mobile bar, what do you do?
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. Whereas this weekend, the retreat weekend, really allowed me to sit with other business owners and like just have like a raw conversation on like business.
Yeah.
I
could
really
see you
good.
doing that in the future, like maybe 2026 goals or something like that. I could see you like doing retreats and things like that, because you love to plan like events and create experiences for people, and then also your public speaking thing. Like I could totally see you kicking off a thing. Anyway,
Alexis, watch out, I'm coming for you.
I feel like this episode has kind of gotten away from us.
It has, but it's all in good spirit. So anyway, wrap up. Set your goals for 2024. Look at what you did in 2023. See if you achieved your goals, if you are a goal setter. If you're not a goal setter, that is okay, but find a way to visualize your dreams. Yeah. And how you can achieve them.
Doesn't have to be pen and paper. Yeah. It can be visuals. It can be whatever you want it to be, just as long as you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers. I guess that's it.